Welcome to Deep Dive. We're the show that kind of digs into the systems you use all the time, but maybe don't really think about. Today, we're actually taking a peek behind the scenes. It's something that's, well, fundamental to global commerce, but almost invisible. The forklift. You know, when you order something online and it shows up super fast, well, its journey through those massive distribution centers, it completely depends on these workhorses. So our mission, our deep dive today, is to really unpack the huge present and future impact of forklifts, especially within the global supply chain. We're using the sources you share with us, looking at how central they are, and then diving into the, frankly, incredible tech shifts happening right now, quietly revolutionizing them.
It really is remarkable, isn't it, how much we rely on them? I mean, the sources make it crystal clear without forklifts, getting goods to consumers, to businesses, it would be, well, near impossible. Seriously, they're the engine, you know? Moving stuff everywhere, supporting the whole rhythm of commerce. But yeah, as the sources point out, there are downsides to a lot of the current ones. Long charge times, safety issues sometimes, where they run on fossil fuels. The exciting bit, though, new tech. It promises way more efficiency, smoother supply chains, and ultimately lower costs for everyone, including you listening.
Right. So why are they becoming even more important now? What's changed?
Well, economists are actually projecting this pretty significant rise in forklift sales globally. Britain, for example, is expecting notable growth. And what's really driving this, it seems, isn't random. It's directly tied to that massive shift we're all seeing towards e-commerce. As we shop more online, you get these huge warehouses popping up everywhere, right? Filled with products. And if you have a warehouse, well, you absolutely need forklifts. It's that simple.
And it's not just the big guys like Amazon. That's what's interesting. The sources talk about this model called warehouse as a service. WAS, they call it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of game changer.
It really is.
Yeah, because it means even tiny businesses like one-person operations, maybe someone making crafts at home, they can use these big warehouses too. They ship their stuff there, and the WAS company handles storage, shipping, all the logistics when an order comes in. So this sort of democratization of warehousing is just ramping up the demand for lift trucks everywhere. Small businesses, huge corporations, everyone.
Yeah, and that connects to the bigger picture, doesn't it? It's not just about, big brands tweaking their operations. It's more fundamental. It's restructuring how goods actually move. And it affects businesses of all sizes, blurs the lines between, old school retail and online. The takeaway is pretty stark. Anywhere there's a warehouse full of goods, there's a need. Either buying or hiring forklifts. Their presence is just going to keep growing with this trend. It's changing how everything gets to us.
So with this demand just surging, right, across the board, it makes tackling the problems with the old-style forklifts even more critical. Our sources, they call the gas-powered ones, noisy pollution gluttons. And let's be real, nobody enjoys shouting over an engine inside a building or breathing in those fumes.
Definitely not.
And it's not just the workers, though their health and safety is paramount, obviously. Consumers are pushing, too. They want greener options. So this demand, it's not just selling more new, cleaner forklifts. It's also driving growth in servicing and training. Companies are upgrading their whole fleets. It's a big systemic shift happening.
And that naturally brings up the why, right? What's pushing this change? Now, forklifts don't actually fall under that specific EU rule from 2009. The ones setting CO2 targets for new cars, 95 grams per kilometer by 2020. Very strict.
Right, I remember that for cars.
Yeah. But even though forklifts aren't covered yet, a lot of industry watchers, they predict it's, only a matter of time before they face similar rules. And that foresight, it's making many companies switch now, proactively, instead of waiting to be forced. And honestly, when you look at the benefits, it just makes sense. These electric or iron phosphate or even hydrogen ones, they're quiet, they run smooth, they're easier to maintain. Plus, they work great in those controlled warehouse temperatures and setting up charging. Relatively straightforward.
Okay, those benefits sound pretty good, especially the green angle. But like with any new tech, are there hurdles? Practical challenges companies hit when they switch to electric, besides just the cost?
That's a really good question. And yeah, often it boils down to the specifics of the power source itself, which we can get into. But looking just at the upsides first, from a supply chain view, the efficiency gains are huge. These machines mean getting goods to consumers faster, more reliably. Plus, companies get to say they have low or zero emissions. And in today's world, that's a big selling point.
Yeah, people care about that.
They do. And the sources also stress improved safety. They say futuristic forklifts utilize technology to become safer for operators and warehouse workers, which leads to, fewer accidents, fewer collisions, and fewer injuries. That alone makes the supply chain smoother, safer, more efficient. So yes, there are initial hurdles, retraining staff, maybe changing layouts a bit, but the long-term gains usually win out.
Okay, let's dig into those power sources then. Starting with the older electric ones. Lead-acid batteries, right? Many forklifts still use them today, I gather. And while they're cheaper up front, the sources say they have these major drawbacks that really kind of slow things down.
Oh, absolutely. Big time.
Like operators have to physically remove these super heavy batteries to charge them, which sounds awkward, maybe even dangerous. Acid spill.
Yeah, it's cumbersome, and there is a risk.
And then it takes 8 hours to charge, plus another 8 hours just to cool down before you can use it again.
That's right.
So 16 hours of downtime for each battery? Yeah. That's incredible.
16 hours per battery. And then there's the maintenance, regular watering, voltage equalization. It's a lot of upkeep. It's just, yeah, incredibly inefficient for such a critical tool.
Wow, okay.
But this is where the newer tech really makes a difference. It shows how far things have come. You know, those downsides of lead acid, they basically pushed everyone toward lithium-ion batteries much faster. These are the same batteries in like Teslas and other EVs, and they're becoming standard in industry now too. Yes, the initial cost for the forklift and the charging setup is higher, no doubt, but the payoff comes from just unmatched efficiency. With lithium-ion, you don't take the battery out, you just plug the whole machine in, like your phone.
Much easier.
Way easier, and one charge. It can last 2 shifts. About 16 hours of work. And crucially, no cooling time needed after charging. 0. Plus, almost no maintenance, no watering, no equalization. It's a huge operational leap.
That is a massive difference. So what about hydrogen? You mentioned hydrogen fuel cells. Are they in the mix too, or still more?
I will
How's
say
experimental?
hydrogen is definitely in the mix. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
NASA's used fuel cells forever, basically. They started showing up in forklifts maybe 15 years ago. And they offer some really big pluses, 0 emissions, obviously, and refueling. Takes about 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, incredible, right? Especially for places running constantly, 24/7. And a really key advantage, they don't lose efficiency in the cold. So for refrigerated warehouses, freezer sections, they're kind of ideal. Consistent power matters there. But there's always a but, right?
Usually it.
The infrastructure, setting up hydrogen refueling stations, it's costly and it can be complex to implement. So yeah, the sources tend to agree that for now, at least lithium-ion is probably the more practical, accessible choice for most companies.
Makes sense. Okay, so moving past just how they're powered.
Yeah.
Let's talk intelligence.
Yeah.
Because this seems like the next big step. Forklifts aren't just dumb machines anymore. They're becoming smart data-generating tools.
Yeah.
We're talking telemetry data, right?
Exactly. Telemetry.
Just basically real-time info sent from the forklift back to some central computer system.
Precisely. It's the automatic recording and sending of data from, the machine out on the floor to an IT system. Managers can see it instantly. And that immediate feedback, it lets managers make quick calls, fix inefficiencies as they pop up, which reduces supply chain hiccups and ultimately cuts costs. Modern forklifts, they're already tracking loads of stuff. Idle time, if safety procedures are being followed correctly, their exact GPS spot in the warehouse.
So you can see exactly where time or money is being wasted or where risks are highest?
Pretty much. All that data helps companies pinpoint, say, high collision risk areas or spots where routes are inefficient. And fixing those directly leads to lower costs and fewer delays down the line.
Okay, data is one thing, but where does AI fit into this?
Right. So looking at the bigger picture, all this data really sets the stage for artificial intelligence, AI. Now, I know there's often a bit of skepticism around AI. People hear AI and think self-driving cars that still need someone watching them.
Yeah, exactly. Still seems a way off for cars.
It does. But here's the thing. With forklifts, AI is actually much closer to kind of taking the reins fully. And the key difference is the environment. Forklifts operate in what the sources call a relatively predictable, closed environment. A warehouse. Think about it. No rain, no snow, no random traffic from outside, no pedestrians popping out unexpectedly.
Right, it's much more controlled than a city street.
Exactly. You've got predictable routes, usually consistent lighting, and basically full control over the space. These conditions are almost perfect for AI. So the prediction is that automated forklifts that capitalize on AI technology will likely become a supply chain staple, probably sooner than we think. And the benefits of full automation, they're huge. No need for coffee breaks, no time off, and critically, far less human risk involved. For companies, that means potentially massive cost savings, big time.
So are we seeing any of this AI in action now? Or is it still mostly future tech?
Oh, it's definitely happening now. Maybe not full human-free automation everywhere yet, but AI applications are making a difference already. Like computer vision. It's a type of AI that lets the forklift essentially see its surroundings. It can create 3D maps of the warehouse, navigate around obstacles really well, and even figure out the best way to position itself to lift a heavy pallet. And this computer vision, it has already increased efficiencies and led to fewer accidents. That's documented. So as AI keeps getting better, these automated forklifts will too. And that's going to drive even faster supply chain progress.
Wow. So, okay, stepping back, it's clear the humble forklift isn't so humble anymore or static. This deep dive looking at these sources really shows they have this massive impact on the supply chain. And that impact's only growing, right? With e-commerce just continuing to boom. And all these warehouses popping up for businesses of every size imaginable. Forklifts are just becoming indispensable everywhere. We've seen how the tech is converging cleaner power like electric and hydrogen, the instant insights from telemetry, the smarts of AI and automation. It all seems geared towards cutting inefficiency, getting stuff to us, the consumers, faster, and yeah, saving companies money.
It really is a convergence. And it does make you wonder, doesn't it? This raises an interesting question, I think. As we see these advanced technologies like AI really taking hold and working so well in a controlled space like a warehouse, how might that give us clues about future automation? In, the more complex places we live and work in every day, think about the intelligence being embedded everywhere in the physical world around us. These technologies, often unseen, like the forklift itself, they're constantly reshaping our lives, our economy. It maybe encourages us all to pay a bit closer attention to those systems humming along in the background, making sure everything arrives at our doorstep.